Yeah, any day now we can do this.
You can. Welcome back to the barn.
I'm Shorty.
And I'm Jake.
And this is the barn.
And today...
I'm back.
You are back.
I'm
from
back.
your trip. Glad to have you back. Other than, look at this pile of stuff we have to do to my bike now. My
All right. Well,
23 KLR 650 regular model.
How many miles you got on that now?
49. What do you got on yours?
3,100 and something.
Well, maybe someday you'll catch me.
All right. So
I also did the Enduro Engineering skid plate. Boy, that's a nice looking piece. These are dirt racks, crash bars. This is a headlight cover. I'm going to put a bigger foot pad on the kickstand. I have the relay and wiring harness to activate all the factory wiring. This is a 12-volt outlet, USB port, and it also has a voltmeter on it. That'll be hooked up to a keyed spot. I have another 12-volt that'll go in the factory location that I want hot all the time.
you are hot all the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I notice these things.
I also have the tank pads, a set of lights. These are tiny. And this is a cup holder. It doesn't adjust much, but it matches the bike, and I'm going to put it on the crash bars. And yes, I do realize the first time it goes down, it'll be gone. I also have handlebar risers to go a little bit higher with my handlebars because, well, I'd like them a little higher.
I gotta tell you, I have headlight envy.
You do, eh?
Yes.
I'd have bought you one, but it took forever to get here.
This is pretty. I like this a lot, actually. So, well, you got some cool stuff. I mean, I like the, I like this thought. I like the USB plus the 12-volt.
I'm not sure what the on-off switch operates on this.
And now you said these were dirt tracks?
Yes.
I don't know if you guys can see it. I did auto body for a while in another lifetime, and I like the treatment that they gave these bars. It looks like they use a product underneath the paint. It's similar to a product I used to use called Bulldog, and it's a chip guard.
Yeah.
And I like it. It almost has a tempered feel to it.
Definitely textured. I do like that. Won't be quite as noticeable with scuffs on it, I don't think.
No. I don't believe so. But I mean, it does. I like your choice of stuff. I do like this. The little lights, that'll be interesting to see. They're just little bullet lights, and that'll be kind of cool to see. And I will be honest, the pad for your kickstand on my last trip, that would have been very handy a couple of times.
I tried to talk you into it, and you said you didn't need it.
Not just for my bike, but I watched on the second day I was at that event. It rained like hell, and we went to bed. And we got up in the morning, and there were 3 bikes taking naps.
Everybody was leaning?
No, they were taking naps. They were laying right down on the ground in a puddle. So,
well, I've seen you take a nap on a hill.
I have.
It wasn't raining.
It was with a much heavier bike. All right,
I think one leg was too short.
On the bike or me?
Yeah.
So, the plan, what are we going to do? Are we just going to shoot some video? Or
we're not going to get as detailed as we did in putting Shorty's bike together. If you need to know what tools or want to see something more in depth, I guess you'll have to cut back to those.
Or they can write us in the comments section. We'll try to answer back.
We always try and answer.
That's where we're going to be. So basically, Jake is going to be doing a lot of the assembly today, and I'm going to kind of follow around with a camera, and it's going to be kind of down and dirty. I'm going to just he can talk and work, and I'll film.
Also, in the near future, I am not going to put my Tusk longer shifter on because it seems to be the same length as the factory one. I guess Kawasaki addressed that. In a future video, I'm going to give it away to somebody that can use it.
All right.
And we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, and once again, just a reminder that when you take these little plates off, these grommets are probably going to pop off with. Make sure you put them back in place. And while we were gone for a minute, we stuck the tank pads on. So now Jake's big old legs won't scratch the tank.
Unlike Shorty, I was able to find the plug-in that plugs into the factory harness for the lights. And there's the magic relay that goes right there.
There's a real good shot of that. We didn't get that the last time.
That relay will activate all these harnesses.
And this is just a protective cap right there. That pops right off.
Yes.
Okay, so we are taking the handlebars off, and we're going to put these risers in place so that Jake can move his handlebars up and forward a little bit. And the reason that we're doing this kind of first is because the outlet that he bought, he wants it to go between the risers, so we kind of need to know where those are going to fall. All right. So something along that. Good deal. Okay, so there are the risers. And Jake, you said it gave it a what?
A more dirt bike feel.
Go.
Okay, we're done. We got the tusk panniers on. We have the larger foot pad, my dirt racks, crash bars, my cup holder, little KLR on it. This is my cruise control. It seems to work. It holds it, and you can still work it. We added this setup with the cigarette lighter, the USB, and my voltage. The 12 volt outlet here. We've got some driving lights in the front. My rock guard for my headlight. The Enduro Engineering skid plate. And just for a splash of color, we made this fit the 23. It wasn't made for it, but we made it fit. That's the conclusion so far. I forgot to mention the risers. We'll have to see when I get more than 50 miles on it. I like parts of both of them. Yours followed the design well, but a lot of plastic sticking out the front still. I don't know.
So now, as far as the driving lights go, we pulled Jake's reflectors off and used those brackets, and that's where his driving lights went. And I ordered the brackets and put my driving lights up higher.
I do plan on doing something similar to what Shorty's done, but I wanted something on the bars because if I want to turn and look off in a field or a trail or something at night, I want to be able to point some light that direction.
And I do have a little bit of envy over the headlight cover. I think that gives it a lot of a look. And I really do like those little driving lights. And those were
That's high
cheap.
beam, and that is low beam.
And what I'll do is drive around and I'll do different angles so we can show the differences. Jake, you want to grab the tape measure out of there? All right, so what we'll do now is we'll take some quick measurements, seeing how we're on pavement. And so we'll do from the ground to the skid plate on this side on my bike.
On the high side. The lowest part of the skid plate is about 9 5/8.
Okay, and then on yours,
On the high side is about 11 1/4.
about an inch and a half difference.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Okay, and then bottom of the bag on yours. Let's do it. Yeah, whatever side.
Well, sight to the bike, I got 22 1/2.
22 and a half there.
And 21 1/4.
So about an inch and a half difference there too. So it looks like it's going to be about an inch and a half difference all the way around. And just so you know, Jake used my bag as a template for his, and it did go pretty smooth. The other thing I'm going to mention while we're here is that is a tire after 3,000 miles. I don't know if you guys can
Another
see.
1,000 maybe on the road.
And that's going to be done. The rating
All right,
stock. We all know that Jake's everybody's favorite, and that's okay. All right, so from the front, side, and then we got from the back here. It's hard to tell the difference. I mean,
it's such an optical illusion no matter where we park. They look the same.
yeah,
We know they're not with my team and yours.
I mean, we did move a couple of times here to try to get a view that shows the difference. I mean, you think your handlebars are, how big are those risers?
About an inch.
Inch and a half. And I mean, the handlebars even look at about the same height. It's all just an illusion, I think.
Yeah, I've moved mine forward so they're more straight up and down. And we moved my windshield up to the top holes.
Well, hopefully this whole thing has given you, the viewers, a perspective on what the different options you have are, especially as far as the crash bars. I mean, there's pros and cons, I think, to each one. The Tusk kind of goes with the body line a little bit more. However, I think the dirt tracks honestly provide more coverage, more protection.
I have a lot more clearance in between, so if you hit something hard, you could, you could bend that 3 inches, 4 inches without getting into the plastics.
Whereas here, I mean, you're pretty tight up against.
Like I said, I like to finish on mine, and I wanted to try something different than you, so we could give the viewers a little bit of comparison. Yours do follow the lines better. I wish they'd have just moved them ahead a little bit. But you got the lowers, and that really protects that water pump and stuff too, and I don't have that. I haven't seen an option on it yet.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about is that bar right there. And then versus his, where the water pump is exposed.
However, Enduro Engineering, can't say enough. That's a nice looking piece, and it's wide, and I think it'll be pretty sturdy. I can also say that the S model gets some of its shorter status through the seat. From here you can kind of see mine.
Yeah.
Mine's at least 4.5 inches thick. Yours, maybe 3 1/4. It's hard to measure because yours tapers in here, and mine's more straight up and down.
My seat's detached right now too, so. So I think what we set out to do, I think we're successful. I think we both got bikes that are equal on the playing field as far as the amount of CCs, and I think we were able to dress them up to how we each wanted.
Pretty well. If money was unlimited, who knows what we would have done. This is all done within a budget. That's why we have the same saddlebags. It's $400-500 difference between another brand. I wasn't going to do that.
However, I will attach to the B-roll in this. For $20 this week, I bought a set of backpacks from the camping section at Walmart, and you're able to lace those bags to the racks and gives you a set of soft bags for $20. And they look,
Good.
yeah, they look really decent. So things I would have changed overall about the kit, just little stuff, the stuff we got. We both mentioned they give stainless hardware. Why they would do that when they know everything's going to be black on the bike. So we're going to have to go back with some spray paint and just give it a quick.
Pretty happy so far. Like I said, we did my whole bike. We took, days time.
Yeah.
8 hours, we did everything.
And the wiring was...
The wiring is the longest part, figuring out what you want to do. His 12-volt accessory outlet plugged right into the factory. Mine didn't, but I was adding a second one as well. My cruise control does work. I tried it this morning, even though it seems loose on the bars, it holds.
And my cruise control, once again, I don't know if I see what everybody else is talking about with with Atlas rather. And gotta have an Atlas. I don't think that's the case. I think yours works just as well, if not.
I went out on the limb, and that was like one of the cheapest things you could find. I think it was like $30. And I said, I'll try it. Let people know, hey, is it going to work? Is it not? So far.
Now, I haven't played around with that Blue Sky C camera system too much, but I will tell you this, it gets people's attention because the little light stays lit on here and it blinks.
Looks like a security system.
And it makes a security sound when people break the beam at night or the bike gets moved at night. I like it a lot. And when I was at that event, people were, does that have an alarm system in it? So I mean, if
should have said yes, it does.
It's got
a remote start too.
Right. There's a pit bull inside the box. But yeah, I think if for nothing else, I think it's worth it for that. So
I think we're going to have some fun with it.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up because we just talked to a guy about some trails and see about getting these things dented up and dirty.
None of these people pay us.
No, we are not sponsored.
So if we think it's good, we'll let you know. If we think it's not, you're going to know that too. So we'll have to see when we get some miles on everything. Well, you have some miles.
And I will say, after 3,000 miles, speaking of that, I didn't put anything underneath this bag, and my paint is absolutely fine under there. And I got caught in rain. I got caught in some hail. I got caught in some sleet. I got caught in some snow. So if anything, dusty roads, dirty, dusty roads. I got into some of that red mud down there, and there's no scratches, nothing underneath them. And as far as gassing up, it wasn't bad at all, man. It was pretty much piece of cake. Because when you unhook these fronts, they just the clips stay there, and you're able to flip this bag back on itself. Which I go into that bag every time anyway because I write down the mileage and the gas and everything else. So it worked out perfectly fine. The other thing I will say after that trip, I talked about this earlier, if you do get a pair of these saddlebags, my suggestion is keep the back one locked at all times and only use the front one. And then that way, if you're going down the road and you think you forgot to secure your saddlebag, you can just reach back and check this one before you pull over. That one, there's no reaching back and checking. So if you keep that one locked at all times, there's no question.
I might be able to. I have arms.
And to keep it locked isn't a problem because it just folds back on itself. Or
have the cable.
Yeah, you could hook the cable up, which I really don't care to do. I think the cable will eventually slice the weather stripping, and I would rather.
We could trim that a little shorter.
Good.
And then it wouldn't let it go back.
Stop it there. But anyway, that would be my suggestion, so it doesn't fly off. And I mean, think of that too, though. Even if you're going down the road and that lets go and that has that cable, it's going to bend the shit out of this at 50 miles an hour.
Well, you're going to know because you're going to be like air brakes.
Air brakes, wings. But yeah, so I mean, there's a steering issue with some of the 2023s. The steering issue is it feels like the handlebars are locked in the straight position. And when you go to make a turn anywhere between 10 and 20 miles an hour, it feels like you're pushing uphill. And then you kind of lose control of the bike for a few seconds. Some people are reporting that they're going into oncoming traffic. If you go on some of the forums, it's a common problem. All you need to do is, if Gracie can get a view on this, show how easy that bag moves out of the way too. All right, so you pull this nut back. All you really have to do is loosen it. So you have to take your handlebars off, loosen this nut, and then there's a castle nut, which you can't see underneath here. And this white dot, like on mine, was over here. You need to loosen that castle nut about an eighth of a turn, which I didn't even go a full eighth, as you can see. Because it was just off the center over to the left-hand side, and now I'm just off center on the right. And now my turning is smooth. I'm not fighting it at all. But for 3,000 miles, I fought this every time I needed to make a turn between 10 and 20 miles an hour. So now I'm a real happy guy. It's a common problem, and some of the dealerships aren't recognizing it, and they're giving people a hard time about doing it. All it was at the factory, they over-torqued it. And now they know that they over-torqued it. So it's a real simple fix. If you're having a steering issue with them, that's all you have to do. Gracie, took me less than 20 minutes the other night, correct? Yep. To fix it. And I adjusted my handlebars while I was at it. I pushed my handlebars forward a little bit too. But, yeah. So I guess until we see you
on the road
or on that trail, have a good day.